Okay, so what's happening is I'm playing, I don't know what to call this, just like in the background, some Sony footage as, I don't even know, like kind of like as a placeholder, or I don't know what the term I thought of was, but just because this was a far better ad than the R6, it doesn't even freaking matter, right? But it's kind of like, I made a note here, yeah, my whole, just like seeing both the releases, again, doesn't matter, but I'm like, Sony, so this brand does a far nicer job actually showing the camera in work, like whether it's like, even from like a marketing perspective or point of view, like how you would use it, or like the actual work that would come out of it. Like the proof, let's say, just looking at the footage now, which, I mean, to be fair, it doesn't even matter at the end of the day, it's just a tool, right? Whereas with Canon's release, I just said it's like, it's absolute trash. Doesn't really show for shit. It's, most of which is like garbage content and shit you could actually just shoot with your damn phone. That's like the most subpar, you know, like normie kind of content, whatever. And the one thing that I thought about to myself is like, instead of Canon, it's by design for marketing purposes. Like instead of Canon giving this shit, like these cameras, whatever, to like real creators, like real artists, like people actually like make work, which to be fair, they don't give a fuck about. They'd rather give it to, yeah, so like instead of giving it to real creators, to be fair, who mostly don't even keep really a close like watch on this stuff, or really don't even care about like the release and all the hype and all that shit behind it. They just want to, or the consumer stuff, like they just want to buy it, just want to, not even the idea of like buying, they just want to use it as a tool to create. But instead they get all to these like, I'm not going to drop names, but like all these like trendy marketers or just influencers or whatever else you would call them at that point, which to be fair, you could even like automate in the near future. It could just be like replicas, like replications of these like so-called creators or like influencers, and just like clone them and just automate their profile and use them to sell your product, whatever else, which people then and therefore also buy, of which, funny enough, like, why are even people buying if they're never even going to create? There's another topic of that too, like in the near future. I think I made a note here on that, but it's like, I forgot. It's like people are buying cameras to not even create with the camera. They're just buying it in the act of consumption or something like that. Or in the future, there won't even be anything left to create at that. It's like, look at the type of content that people are quote unquote buying or consuming this stuff in the first place for. It's just to create stuff for social media. Like, of which, like, what's the point of buying if you can just automate the type of content you're creating? Like, you see all these people today. There's this recent thing I might do a video on where it's like people like AI LARPing themselves at like, it's mostly girls, but like at like a sports game, like F1 racing, soccer, baseball or something. It's like, you're already getting your real self and just making it to AI to post online, of which works, people will consume it. So why would you even need to buy a camera? Anyways, so that's a separate topic. Yeah, and it's like when you see these ads, like people, quote unquote, people who create don't really buy for this shit. Like, dude, I see like the advertisements, I'm like, this doesn't really speak to me. But people who consume do. Like, it speaks to people who just straight up just consume content. Oh, that's the word, dubbing. Yeah, so I'm pretty much dubbing it with some Sony clip because it's far more interesting than any of the other slop that's come out from these people, let alone Canon themselves. I'm just gonna fast forward this stuff because it's nice, because in some of these clips you're actually seeing whether it's like real or fake, like compare their raw image to like the HDR composite, and it's kind of nice actually, whether it's true or not. I don't know, like comparison with like dual base ISO and stuff, like actual use cases. It's nice. They have extended RAW up to 250 megapixel resolution output from a single raw image. So that's crazy. You can just like crop and then, oh, it's beautiful. But that even brings a case to, actually that's what it was. There was a whole thing with like this, like when you're like upping the scale so much, is like, is that even the real image? Sure, it's like somewhat fabricated, but there's like a case too where it's like in the Sony video release, it talked about like pre-shutter, and it's like it's moving more and more towards a case of like capturing something not only before it happened, but even happening at all. And that creates a case with like stages of simulation. So it's like, there's like capturing the actual event, then there's pre-capture. So it captures even before you hit the shutter button. And then there's pre-event. So it's like even capturing it before it even took place in real life. So it's like, and then even fabricating it at that for you. So that's one aspect. And it's like, even beyond that, it's like, it's moving towards a point of view where it's like, before there was the event and the experience and then the memory, and then that was captured with said camera or said tool, to now 2026 or whatever, we're moving towards this stage or this format of which it does it all for you. So it kind of removes the necessity to even have a shooter or have a creator there in the first place. It's like, it can pre-create, it can pre-shoot, it'll just do all the shooting for you. So it's like, in the future, you'll just walk around with your set of glasses, your meta glasses or whatever they'll call it, or literally who knows what it is, and it'll just capture real time for you, fabricate it. It could just be automatically generated at that point. Someone will just create some startup on that. It's like, hey, we will create all your live content for you. It'll curate it, cut it, edit, fabricate it, maybe even make it not even real, because most stuff is curated today just for social media. It's so everyone's just LARPing, acting on stage in this mall and stage of which is the city today. And then automatically upload it online, in which AI bots will react to it. So it's like AI created content in which real people and also AI will react to it, and vice versa. Real people reacting to AI content and all the rest. It's so fucking cooked. But yeah, I think that was my main thing here. But yeah, anyways, to move along with this, just decided to use the Sony clip because yeah, there's pre-capture I'm seeing here. That's crazy. So it's like, sure, there's use cases where that happens. Like, yeah, if you're doing like quote unquote like paid work, but dude, like 99% of times you don't even need it. If people will just like LARP, it's like, forget freaking pre-capture, just do pre-reality. It's like, you can LARP the event having never been there, or that event or that happening never happened in the first place, or whatever. Like, what's the difference between pre-capture and pre-event or pre-happening or pre-reality? Tracking is kind of cool. So like, I'm going to compare here between the A7R6, like Nikon bodies, and the R6V in a second as I'm going through this. That's cool. So as this is playing, the R6V just dropped. I'm actually quite happy. Here I am being a consumer. I'm going to pause this for a second. And like one really like beautiful thing in my opinion, or anyways, like one really cool thing is like, I was actually if I look through my notes, this is April 5th, actually. Yeah, so April 5th, I was thinking about just like, again, not in terms of consumerism, but like just my productivity, my workflow, having a second R8 body for shooting events, 1 for redundancy, 2 for backup and all the rest. But I was like, I wanted a central video body. And the only thing that Canon offers, if I stay within Canon ecosystem, which is like ideal because I have all my Canon lenses, would be the C50. Just because I wanted I wanted internal fan and IBIS, and it doesn't have IBIS. I'm like, man, why'd I have to lose on fucking one or the other? So the ideal thing I wanted was like a Canon FX3. So the C50 was the closest thing without IBIS, and I kind of understand like for cinema bodies, you generally speaking don't really benefit from IBIS because you're shooting in a studio environment. It's on gimbals, it's stabilized, it's pre-stabilized, and you don't want to have any other kind of moving internal components. You want a solid fixed sensor, internally speaking. But for like 99% of scenarios, like as a creator myself, I'm like, dude, I could definitely benefit from IBIS. Most times I'm not bringing a tripod with me. I can't even think of like the times when, even just from an accessibility standpoint, like it gets so cumbersome, like bringing a tripod or like mounting, et cetera, et cetera. And even if you do mount, I don't know if you can turn IBIS off. I think you have to turn all stabilization off, et cetera. But dude, I just wanted IBIS, and it's in so many camera bodies today. So there was like the C50. So I was looking at the C50, Nikon ZR, and the FX3. Problem with the FX3 is it's price stupid and it's such an old body. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, all right, we gotta wait for that FX3 too. But I hate the idea of like waiting, just get what's available. Don't wait unless it's like in the next couple of days or next couple of weeks, sure. Yeah, there's no tomorrow. So, and I'm like, the FX3, it's not even really a hybrid camera. It's more so video because the photos are kind of 12 megapixels is kind of subpar anyways. And I'm like, it's pending an upgrade. And even if it upgrades, it's gonna be another like 5-6K plus, given the price it's currently priced at now, of which it was released at, of which hardly changed. I wouldn't go FX3, I wouldn't go crop. FX2, no, I don't really care for. I need the EVF, etc. So I'm like, all right, that's Sony ecosystem. Nikon ZR, I looked at it for a bit. I wish I had a proper grip. It's an attachment. I wish it had an internal fan for cooling. It doesn't, so I'm like, I'd have to run an external if I did. I like the screen, but then I'd rather deal with a small screen than having a bigger screen and sacrificing on, you know, buttons and all the rest on the body. Like I prefer buttons and ergonomics and having a bigger screen, because you can always replace a small screen with a bigger external screen or monitor than you can replacing buttons and controls and all the rest. And I don't want to go full touchscreen, you know, keep things physical, you know, feel is everything. And then Canon's ecosystem, again, you have the C50, and then you have the R6 III, which is essentially 99.9% of the internals of the C50, if not the same, minus the menus, hardware, like the interface, and a few other, well, inputs and output, like I guess the hardware at that. So the R6 III actually from what, like early April onwards, for like a month, I guess, was kind of the move, even though I'm not, or like kind of like late March onwards, I'm like, all right, I guess R6 III is the move if I get another camera. But I'm like, I really don't want a hybrid camera, and I wouldn't even be, the goal wouldn't even be to shoot photos on it. It would almost be only like strictly video, sure, but with the benefit of doing photos. So I don't really care for the mechanical shutter and all the rest. I felt R6s, I didn't really like how they felt, etc. I like the lightweightness of the R8. But I'm like, okay, so I'd essentially be buying a hybrid, more so like pseudo hybrid, more so a photo body to shoot video. I didn't really like that. And I'm like, and then for the fan, if I'm doing like long-term recording, I would have to buy an external fan, which you can do. It's easier to add a fan than it is to add IBIS. It's my whole perspective, which is why I prefer it over the C50. It's also cheaper than the C50, so it's more accessible that way. But anyways, regardless of that, I'm like, I guess that's it. So I'd get the same internals of the C50 with IBIS, cool, and I can just add a fan. So that was my whole idea. And then I think I made a note here. I'm like, yeah, you can add a fan, but you can't add IBIS. And then yeah, you can get a small vert cage to add attachment points. And I was thinking of like just doing car content, just more like for media gigs, all the rest, while I still can. Yeah, I was like, why can't Canon release like an FX3 ideal aegis side? But I'm like, yeah, just looking for the truly perfect kit. I was like, if I was already in the Sony ecosystem and it was maybe like 3K new today, and I didn't care about the photo resolution, which I really don't, to be honest, because really the less is better. And also, nor do I need EVF. I'm like, the FX3 might be the move. And it's like, dude, I already have a photo cam is how I kind of think of it. And especially when I'm doing photo, I want to have matching resolution. It didn't make sense to have like the R8. And then my second body would be an R6 III. So now I have a 24 and now a 32.5. Like, I just hate dealing with different file sizes, different formats. I want it to be so identical. And 24 is already more than enough for like 100% of my use cases of which I'm shooting now. I've shot some stuff on my 5DSR, which is what, 50 megapixels or 45 or whatever. And dude, the files are freaking cooked. So I like, even the 60 was what, 20 megapixels or 18, and those are like still more than enough. So I think 24 is like the perfect middle ground. So 32.5, it's like, I'm now hardly benefiting from higher resolution, and now I'm dealing with larger file size. And if I'm doing a gig where I'm shooting 2, 4, 6, 8,000 photos in one day, dude, having files that are 50% larger can become kind of cumbersome with that. Anyway, so yeah, I'd rather less than more. Again, do more with less than with more. And then I made another note here too. I'm like, sure, money, no question. Where sky's the limit. FX3 with Sony glass for video work. And then I guess on the other side, Canon would just be photos. But then, I said it can be cumbersome here where now I have the inability to share lenses. And now in my case, my pack, I'm carrying more gear than having, having all shareable lenses on site. Then I said something else here. I don't know what that means. Oh, less an issue back home per se. Oh, okay. If I'm not traveling, sure. And I was like, yeah, though when shooting for events, which is a very much here now thing, considering the time horizon for me, quite literally like my finitude, my mortality, whatever else. So yeah, I get it. So the R6V dropped, cool. And yeah, my whole thing with the R6V was, I'm like, I think, speaking of Canon rumors, it's like, yeah, I think I saw the first rumor like less than 2 weeks ago, maybe 10 or 12, maybe like 10 weeks, 2 weeks ago, actually, at this point. I'm gonna search R6V. and it was like everything I expected. I think maybe a few weeks ago, I first saw it mentioned. I think in the initial mention, it said it was going to share the body of the R50V. And at first I'm like, that's kind of fine, but that body is like kind of like nerfed. Like that would have been pretty shit, to be honest. Like the R50V, that's more like a vlog camera or whatever else. Despite it having like a front record button, but I was like, dude, it doesn't have as many dials as my R8, if I'm not mistaken. And sure, it's like super minimalistic. I didn't think that would make sense because it's a crop sensor, and I think some people like photoshopped the R50V with a full frame and calling it, and then like putting the logo or label of like the R6V or whatever else. And I didn't like how it didn't have I kind of missed the dial, like the counterclockwise dial, and the joystick together, or at least have a D-pad, but the R50V has neither. So at that point I'm like, okay, that makes no sense. So I'm glad that wasn't a thing. And in this one, I didn't have a fan either. And at first, I think the speculations were saying the R6V was going to have passive cooling, not active cooling. And I was like, that's totally cool. Just give me an R6 III, same cost or not. Take out the EVF. If you can reduce the cost, sure. Keep the IBIS, just kind of like a lesser C50 or whatever. And I was like, that would make total sense. But right now, the R6V just dropped. And so some things I like about it, front record button has the whole like zoom piece, like in and out or whatever, wide to tele. It has I forgot what you call it, the light, or that light or whatever, just so you know it's recording. I think the R6 III has it. I literally forgot what that's called. And yeah, who knows, like what else? Like if I go to, I don't know, I can't find any photos on it here. Yeah, the top looks mint compared to the C50. Yeah, like there's a photo here of it versus C50. It's a bit smaller. Grip looks about the same. I want to pick one up in hand, but yeah, I want to do more video content, of which I'm not using an excuse that I can't do video. Dude, I've been shooting on this channel, despite it not being like cinema content. I've been shooting on my, little action cam. It's hardly any action at that, but stabilization is good. It's more than fine. Then my R8 for some stuff when I'm on the rooftops, which I need to get better at, like photo editing within less of Premiere, but like more audio control fixing. And also I want to do some After Effects to capture some effects I want to do for some clips, etc. Yeah, I just want to do cool shit that you don't actually do see on social media, because that shit doesn't fucking matter. Yeah, I think the C50 has 3 record buttons. It's kind of excessive, but the R6V has 2. Cold shoe's fine. It's a bit smaller than the C50. It's like, I don't know why the C50 is so big then. It has less IBIS, 7.5 versus 8. Literally doesn't matter. I just like it's a slightly smaller C50. It's a cheaper C50. It's not a C50. It has essentially, 99% of the internals of the C50 are the R6 III, or if not the same. And yeah, like what else? It has just everything I wanted from the R6 III that I couldn't get from the R6 III, plus the fan, or vice versa. Everything I wanted from the C50 plus IBIS minus the cost and the size and everything else. So I think this is really cool. People are saying like, oh, this is gonna be great for like, oh yeah, that's a note here. It's like, oh, for like entry-level creators and stuff. It's like, bro, it doesn't fucking matter. Just fucking shoot. Yeah, my whole note is like, when they like pigeonhole people to like, this is for this, like this is for amateurs, this is for creators, this is for experts, etc., etc., etc. It's like such a very low level market way of thinking, etc. Like that's just marketing, right? It's like, why can't pros use a basic bitch, which they can, sure, or vice versa. They make it seem like if you've never shot, or like, hey, if you buy this, you're now a pro. That's not how they pitch it, but it's like, this is for pros. So if you buy it and you're not pro, then what does that mean? You can't use it, or you're now pro. If you like, doesn't same thing with like cars, bro. Like you can buy the most expensive, fastest car, doesn't make you a good driver, and vice versa. You can be a great driver and buy the most pile car and still be a great driver. There's a whole like skill divide between skill and consumption, or creation and consumption rather. What else did I have in mind? I think that's it. And yeah, just for now, dude, Sony's video is so good. It's kind of wild. Like at one point they're like talking about all this stuff, like all these neat features or whatever, and then at one point I think it goes into like their social responsibility. It's like recyclable, non-plastic packaging materials. It's like, dude, why is that important? So woke, like so stupid. The photos are decent. I don't know, like, but it's cool. I actually wonder how much it's gonna cost. And like, yeah, back on the whole like Sony versus Nikon versus Canon, by far, in my opinion, having felt them all and having actually used them all, actually, except for new Nikon Z systems, I love the Canon interface, ergonomics, like the menu system, Mogs, Sony, and Nikon, in my opinion. I don't like the ZR again because of like a lot of things, you know, price aside. Whereas like this new R6V is priced the same as the ZR with a fan, open gate recording, 7K RAW, and whatever. I can like list whatever else. What am I missing? Yeah, open gate, 7K RAW, internal fan, probably something else I'm missing, but literally doesn't matter. But and at least I can use all my existing Canon glass, which is super cool. And then one thing I don't like about Sony bodies, I've used the A7 III a few times. I have a friend that has A7 III. I felt the A7 II. I felt the A7, I think an A7 IV as well. They're almost all the same. The design is fine, sure, but like, dude, the all metal body, I get the benefit than having the plastic polycarbonate or whatever that Canon uses. I don't know what Nikon uses, but dude, like weight aside, I just don't like the feel of all the metal buttons and dials. Some people prefer it versus the plastic, so that's one thing. And then even like the back buttons are all plastic. Maybe they're metal, or sorry, maybe they are plastic, but I think they're metal, and just the feel of it. So it's just like Canon's a lot more of a softer feel. That makes sense. Versus like Sony's a lot more colder, harder, rigid. I don't even know if I would want to call it rigid. Like, I should search here. Sony A7R6. That's wild. 4,500 US. 67 megapixels. Bro. Sure. But that's wild. Yeah, another thing too is the battery life. Or actually, I'm just thinking like the battery life would be an upgrade versus my R8, but that's not important versus the C50 versus R6 III. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think the Sony interface is bad whatsoever, but I just don't like the all metal. Anyways, I don't think there's anything else. I think I just want to share my thoughts on R6V versus the other systems. Kind of happy. Don't have the money to even buy one, which is crazy, but giving my perspective on it and kind of happy or like interested rather on the camera system itself, and just even like more so like it just really came out of the blue and just kind of unique in the sense that it was something that I was hoping for, wishing for, and it's like exactly what came out. Again, not even coming or seeing this from a consumer point of view perspective, but wishing for a video camera that can, one, really ideally like make money on to do more video content, because the R8 is kind of lacking. There's no fan, sure. There's no IBIS, sure. It's just a tool. Overheated before, but I've done a 2-hour shoot before. I think it was only on 1080 though. Plugged into an external charger. But yeah, the R8 is kind of limiting, especially if you're doing like paid work. You want redundancy in the SD cards or the CF Express, whatever else. Don't really care for C-Log 3. I think that's it really, or like 7K. Open Gate's a cool feature. I would like to do films with or in Open Gate, and then if I have like secondary cameras, I can shoot on those, like the action cam or whatever. I can shoot on, what is it, 3x4 or 3x2? I forgot or 10x3x2, something like that. But yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it, honestly. Just seeing how this kind of lines up and just kind of comparing as a creator myself or an artist or whatever, and just my perspective on this new camera system, and again, dubbing it over some Sony footage.